Hello, my name's Tanya Landman. I'm absolutely delighted to say that my book One Shot has been shortlisted for the Scottish Teenage Book Prize 2020. One Shot is a coming-of-age story set in America about 150 years ago. It's actually inspired by a real person. It's inspired by this woman here, Annie Oakley, who was America's first female celebrity. But it's only inspired by Annie Oakley. This book features a character called Maggie McGregor. Her family live in appalling poverty. Her father dies and the family are in danger of starvation. Maggie discovers she has an incredible talent. She can fire a rifle with absolute pinpoint deadly accuracy. So Maggie, in theory, could feed the family. She could hunt, she could bring food home, she could feed the family. But this is 150 years ago in America. A girl going out into the wilderness hunting was not the thing to do. So she has a choice. Is she going to feed her family or is she going to behave like the little lady her mother would like her to? You'll have to read the book to find out. When Ma saw the squirrel in my hand, she didn't see food and she didn't see salvation. She saw a girl with a gun and it shocked her to the depths of her soul. Ma, like everyone else in the whole darn country, knew that a woman's place was in the home. A girl should be by her mother's side, cooking, cleaning, sewing, dreaming of her future husband and the children she'd raise. And yet there I was, with a gun and a dead squirrel, having gone out alone into the wilderness just like I was a man. Ma had thought me cold before, heartless, unfeeling. Now she knew I was unnatural, a freak. It was me that had to skin the thing, me that set the squirrel sizzling in a skillet over the fire. I knew one squirrel between 4 people and a baby wouldn't be enough to fill any of our bellies, but it would take the edge off the hunger tearing at us. They ate it fast, and I assumed they were grateful. I picked up the rifle, meaning to go straight out again, but Alexander blocked the way. You're not to go. What? I said. She's shaming us, isn't she, Ma? I almost started laughing. I glanced at my mother, but she was looking at Alexander and nodding. Catherine was rocking baby Carrie and staring at me with accusing eyes and squirrel grease gleaming on her lips. You're shaming us, Alexander said again. I'm not shaming you, I told him. I'm saving you. We've all got to eat, haven't we? Catherine and Alexander looked at Ma. Her face was set. It seemed Ma would rather starve respectably than live with shame. I was mystified. The way I saw it, God had shone a sunbeam into the cabin to light up the rifle. He'd put Pa's voice in my head, telling me how to shoot the thing. God's hand had surely steered my bullet. If it was good enough for God, it was good enough for me. And where in the Bible did it say, thou shalt not be unladylike? Of course, I didn't say all that. I was a child. I didn't have the power to persuade Ma around to my way of thinking. All I said was, I'm helping, aren't I? Can't you just let me? Ma's eyes narrowed into slits, but her voice softened. You want to help? She asked. Yes, ma'am, I said, feeling suddenly hopeful. I'll do anything you want me to. Get your things, Ma said. Come with me. This is Annie Oakley here, the picture behind me. I think I was just absolutely captivated by her face and her attitude. Every photograph I've seen of her, I've just thought, what an intriguing person. She lived in a real man's world. I mean, we're talking 150 years ago when if you were a woman, your only options were to get married and have children. That was it. You did not have a career. And yet here she was, girl from the backwoods of Ohio, becoming an international superstar, performing in front of all the crowned heads of Europe. She was the highest paid performer in Buffalo Bill's Wild West. She could outshoot any competitor, any man. And yet, despite all that stardom, she retained a very kind of quiet, modest demeanour. When she wasn't performing, she would sit there in her little travelling tent with her husband doing embroidery. And I love the contrast between this very kind of feminine, very quiet person and the superstar. One Shot is published by Barrington Stoke, and they specialise in producing super readable books. So they're short, they're punchy, they're full of content. I absolutely love writing for Barrington Stoke. It's a really interesting brief. You have to really distill a story. You cannot wander off down wrong paths. You have to get the essence of the story down on the page, and every word really, really counts. So I suppose in some ways it's maybe more like writing poetry than prose, but I don't want the word poetry to put people off. But I find it a really exciting way of writing, because you are condensing and distilling and getting it down to the very, very essence of the story. And there is just no padding, everything is stripped away. And I find that a really satisfying, interesting way to write. So I love writing for Barrington Stoke. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy reading One Shot and the other books on the Scottish Teenage Book Prize shortlist.